Hi everybody, thanks for joining me today. Hope you are all well and safe. I thought I would unleash the power of Artrage and use as many different types of brushes as I could in one painting, and this is the final result. This is the painting I'm going to do in Artrage today, and I thought it would be cool to unleash the power of Artrage, and by that I mean use as many tools as I can, as many brushes. I'm going to do mixed media. I'm going to use watercolour and all sorts on this one, and I'm going to start off by doing some drawing. This is this is the image I'm going to use, but I'm going to shrink it down. I just wanted to use that as a reference, put that out the way slightly. I'll just stick that up there. Move that out of the way for now. And I've got a bigger image for reference. I don't know if I just said that. So that's really just for your benefit. And I'm going to start off, first of all, I'm doing something I've never done before. I'm using an ink pen, but I'm using it with smoothing switched on. I never use smoothing ever. I much prefer to see all my mistakes and dodgy lines and things. You can see I'm going in with some quite bold lines, but I thought it'd be fun to let the app take control a bit of the smoothing. I want that a bit thinner, really. There we are. That's it. And by what I mean by that is, if I do a squiggly line, see, it smooths it. So let's just see what I get straight away. Look at that. It's totally distorting. I don't know if I'll be able to live with that, but we'll see. So it's starting off with a sort of a really bold ink sketch. My canvas isn't quite the same aspect ratio. Well, it's definitely not good for filling in. At all. But I mean, this shouldn't be about filling in with this pencil. I'm just doing a sketch, really, and then I'm going to put lots of paint on it and things, so it's going to look very different to this. But I wanted to use something really bold to start with, because I want a bold painting. I want something that's really going to stand out. And if I use a pencil, it could end up being a little bit timid, perhaps. Don't like that line. Let's just get rid of that one. This painting was taken quite a long while ago. In fact, I've done a painting of this tree before. You might recognise it with that little wooden door at the bottom. Just there. When I painted a fairy tree. I think I did it in one of the drawing apps like Tchaikovsky or something like that. This is weird that it sort of takes control and just distorts the lines and makes them smooth. I can see why you'd do that if you was like wanting smooth edges, if you was doing a comic or something. I could adjust the smoothness here. We've got a control where I can take the smoothness down, but I'm going to leave it pretty much where it was, because the whole point is I want the app to decide how smooth things should be. We're unleashing the power, man. So this is my quick sketch, as it were. I can change colours, I think. I think I'm allowed to change colours with the sketching. I want some aerial perspective. Just push that tree back a bit. Don't forget, light colours recede. And dark colours or vivid colours, saturated colours, they advance. If I go back to sort of a black colour, you see I can sort of paint those leaves in front of that tree. Oops, different colour. Which one did I pick? Oh no. Maybe that one. I don't know. Yeah, I think it was that one. There we go. Just sketching here. Nothing. Not getting into the painting yet. That's coming. I'm going to use all sorts of stuff. I'm going to use tubes of paint, watercolour, lots of things. Now, this is going to be interesting. Let's pop this dog in. Oh. That's a better line, actually. It looks like a duck. I don't like that. Oh dear. Let's try again. Let's zoom in a bit. Trying to draw a little tiny dog. Still not overly impressed with my dog. Still, got to paint it yet. I've got to paint it. This is just the initial. It's not very good, is it? But you know, hey ho, let's crack on. This guy is he's on lead, isn't he? So let's put the lead in. Let's rub that out. Arm, shoulder. I've got to do these sort of almost graphic type strokes because the app just takes over otherwise. Just wonder if I should. Just going to take his arm out. That's better. So just adjust the lead. If I do sort of squiggly lines, it just takes over and it's almost like the computer's drawing the artwork. Making the painting. I'm just sort of saying, might be a good idea to put it there. And then the computer goes, yeah, I know, but I don't want it there. Let's put it here. I'm thinking. So already this pencil work is making me draw in a particular way. Because I'm trying to take control back. Have a little dog there, look. Got this path coming in. Got this path coming in as well, which is quite important because it sort of leads your eye into the painting. But I'm just going to change it slightly, as you can see, to lead your eye in a bit more like that. Put this brush in. Could I have a brush in there, I suppose? Got this little girl to put in. There we go. All right, that's my people. I want to do a little bit more drawing just to say I have. So I've sort of got more of the scene in. There's a tree in there. I'm just wondering, because I'm saying this is like unleashing the power, should I be using layers? I might do, and do some use some blend modes and things like that. I think that's probably, it wouldn't be unleashing the power if I didn't do that. I think that's the inking done. So that's so I have used the smooth, transparent. No, sorry, the round and smooth brush with the smoothing. I've never ever used that before, so that was interesting. Let's get some paint on it. So we could try this roller. I've been messing around with this dry roller, and it just pushes. I've got a colour selector, this brown. So if I change it to blue, say, it just sort of smudges out some of those pencil lines. And the canvas, by the way, I'm using is hatching. The hatched canvas. So it's quite, I think you find that in the rough section. And this is what I wanted. I wanted to, you know, sort of take out a lot of this pencil work, pen work, especially perhaps that dog. And I'm using, so this is the dry roller, just to put a bit of sort of, so like imagine a thin wash on your canvas. Let's go for a bit more yellow. It's foreground. A bit bigger. And then a brown. Cool, I'm liking it. And I'm not going to paint this in any sort of normal way where I'll do the sky and then work on particular areas. I'm going to be jumping all over, doing different things. So, for example, I thought it'd be fun now to take some a tube of paint and just start painting a tree with these tubes of paint. Let's get a nice thick tube and put that in. Get another tube and change the colour up a little bit. Zoom in so you can see the tube of paint, look. Maybe a bit redder. And then get that palette knife and I'm using the odd out smudge, make it a bit smaller perhaps, and just smudge it a bit. Oops, a bit too small. Just push paint out and create more branches and things. There we go, like that. Some more tubes. Oh, bit too bright that. Let's just do that one. Maybe I'll be best picking them off here. Let's get a little 35mm tube of paint. There we go. Back to my palette knife. I'm pretty much going to stick with this palette knife, I think, because I've used it before and I really like the effect it gets. But you can play around with different ones. So I'm just making these branches up. I'm not sort of looking at the photo or anything. Just sort of going with the flow, really. And you can see we're going to have to paint some more in because this paint isn't smudging out too far. But I don't want to do the old painting with tubes of paint. You know, I'm going to do all sorts of things. So that's, I quite like what we got going off here. I've sort of lost the people, haven't I? They're going to have to be painted back in. I'm going to try and do as much of this painting live and not speed it up because there's so many different things going off that it's going to be difficult to go back to my tube of paint. It's going to be difficult to sort of do a speed painting unless it's sort of a point where I've used all of the techniques and I'm sort of just refining it perhaps at the end. But I think I'm going to need to. I like the thickness that this paint puts on. Look, and I should probably leave some of these ridges where we've got real thick paint from the tubes. All of these brushes I'm using today, I'm going to just try and work with tools that come with Artrage, not any custom ones. If I go back to that dry roller again, I'm not interested in any of the other rollers. It's just this dry one that I can sort of just get this dry roller and push it through some of that paint. Maybe I could. Let's just try this on clean roller. Let's just see what that does. No, it's a bit too. It's a bit too digital, I think. I don't know. Let's just change the colour. Yeah, I don't like that. That's not what I'm after. So I've just pretty much destroyed that tree, haven't I? Okay. So where are we going now? Let's try a watercolour brush. So I'm going to watercolour. And because this is mixed media, so we can mix water and oil. But I'm telling you now, this is going to be, it's going to mix like I'm using water-based oil paints because I've already had a little play around with this. So I'm using the heavy bleed brush. I think this is the one I wanted. It's not something I've used much before, and I'm going to kind of go for, I'll go for this dark colour. Yeah, and you can sort of push colour into it. Push colour into that oil paint, you see, and it mixes with it, where, you know, conventionally that shouldn't really happen. But it doesn't matter, does it? Let's go with a blue-green. I'm going to have to go over this with some darker paint as well, obviously. It even pushes out that thick paint I've put on with a palette knife. This is so much fun to be doing, honestly. Let's come this way a bit. And it's mixing with that I've never ever done this. I've never used sort of loads and loads of different brushes and techniques on one painting. This might totally not work. We might end up with a right dog's dinner. There's another brush we can use. It's the glute brush, I think it is. I think this is it. Yeah, and we can do like these things where we push colour on and it gets a rim round it, which is quite nice. But it sort of acts like it's on a different layer and it doesn't touch the colour underneath it. So you could sort of use that to get a nice effect. And you can use it where it fills the actual shape in as well. A bit darker, bit bigger brush. Almost like you're using a spray gun, an airbrush, and just holding the brush in one place and pulling the trigger and letting the paint squirt away. That's what that reminds me of. Because of course I've done that. I've tried that out. Interesting technique. I'll no doubt I'll lose a lot of this stuff because I'm just going to keep over painting it. And try and get different effects. There we go. Let's go back to the watercolour brush and we can sort of smudge this out again. And we can use light. It actually pushes that light back into it again. So we can sort of lift things out and get them lighter. That's nice. I like that. If I think I've got it all too dark, I can just push bits back in. And I like the texture of the canvas as well, just sort of peeking through. I do wonder if I should have sort of done a bit of an underpainting first, maybe. I don't know. I like the effect this watercolour gets better than that glute pen. I think the glute pen was looking a little bit mechanical. I might not use that again. I can get that dry roller. And, oh, that's not the dry one. Get the dry roller. And just if I wanted to. I don't know if I want to do that. Oh, that's quite cool there. Just softens off that edge a little bit. bit, doesn't it? It's responding differently now. There's more paint on there. That's interesting. Very interesting. Get some darker colour back in. And also, I'm going to go back to the tubes of paint, and I'm just going to zoom in a bit so you can see what I'm doing. I'm going to just squirt some paint on here for more leaves, or close-up leaves, and then take my palette knife, see what I can do with that. Just smudge it out a bit. So we're getting this thick and thin paint. I need to work over the old painting a bit more. It's all, I liking what I'm getting going here, but I think I need to sort of work a bit more over the old canvas. So I'm going back to the watercolour brush. This seems to be working out quite nice. We could use pastels. I wonder what if I picked a pastel and I don't want a solid one. I want something like this soft one, soft wax. Choose a dark colour. Wonder how that reacts on top of the other colours. That's nice. That's cool as well. The way they all smudge together. So I'm using a soft pastel. Lots of different effects going off here. So am I going to call this mixed media or unleashing the power? I don't know. I like the idea of unleashing the power. Oops. Now I've got pastel on. What happens if I go back to the watercolour? Sort of pushes it away. Yeah, that's cool. Let's get this bushing down here. I'll make it a little bit bluer, just to sort of try and add a bit of aerial perspective. Well, my people have pretty much gone, haven't they? Oh, that original drawing really was just to give me an indication of where they were going to go. Now, the colour's different here to over this side, so I need to go back to that pastel, I think, just to repeat the colour. Let's put some of this in here as well. So my trees are oh, that's interesting. When you put the pastel over the thick paint, you still keep the texture of the thick paint look. That's cool. Then so I could get some texture in here, and then overpaint it and lose the colour, but keep the texture. Interesting idea. So, foreground then. Foreground. Do I do that with pastels? I like the idea of using the things like the pastels on the bigger areas because it hasn't got the texture, and then add the texture. These people are just going to get totally blocked out, aren't they? But I love the texture of the canvas that we can see going off there. That's it. I think that's pretty cool for that grass. I don't think it needs much more. I don't think I need any oil in that. Let's get this path in. Let's change. Smudges with that ink. That's nice. And I will definitely be using some thick oil down here. Does it want the watercolour? Let's try the watercolour as well. Maybe that gloopy brush thing might look quite cool here. I'm steering away from things like the glitter brushes though, and the stamps. I don't want any of those sort of silly stamp things going on this. I'm trying to keep it looking organic if I can. So that's the gloopy brush. Back to the watercolour. You do get these nice textures going off. Let's pick a really dark brown and go back to the pastel. And now it's reacting differently. Let's get the roller. The roller. That might be quite cool. Yeah. A bit smaller. That'll probably be better there. Let's undo this a bit. There, like that, and then across here where this path goes. Like that. That's it. Digging that, man. I think we're back to the tubes of paint. Put this tree in here. Palette knife. I've got no idea how long this video is going to be. I'm not going to worry about that. I'm just going to let it run its course. And it will probably affect the channel that people will switch off after 10 minutes. And then I won't get the views. But hey, that's never worried me anyway. I'm not doing it for that. I'm doing it because I like the painting, and I do like to share it all, you know, and read the comments and stuff. And I know sometimes it takes me an age to reply, but I do reply to every single post. Or yeah, no, let me clarify. Every civil comment I will reply to. try to give a proper answer as well, not just thanks. You know, actually take the time to answer properly, because I know you guys have taken the time to write the comment, so it's nice to take the time to reply properly. I don't know what got me talking about that. Look at this. I love, just let me zoom in on this to show you this. I just love that branch done with a tube of paint. Shall I try and get my dog back in? That might be fun, eh? I'm worried about it though, I have to say. Let's do it with the tube paint. Zoom in a bit. I don't see how I can use layers with this, because it's all about how the brushes are sort of interacting with one another. Unless I'm going to use it to put shadows on, but again, I don't know. These are going to have to be really, really just an impression. I think I could go with, I think at this point I need an oil paintbrush. But I'm going to go with the thick. I've got a thick normal, thick gloss. I think there's an option here. The square head is off, so that's cool. I don't want a square head. Why is that red? Must be lifting up some. That was weird. I've got no idea why that went on red then. This is tricky. Okay. Now let's see if I can do something a bit. I don't know if it's going to let me. I need to zoom in on my source image. His head sort of just stops there. I was making it way too long, so get my. Don't know how I'm going to get rid of that original pencil work now. Well, I'm not, am I? I'm just going to have to work it in, I think. Oops. There we go. So his tail's totally in the wrong place. I should have done it on a different layer, shouldn't I? I'm just going to zoom out a bit in a second. That's better. That's probably where it should have been. Dear me. got his legs way, 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 way too thick. That's probably, if I zoom out, does that look better? Probably just come out with his snout a little bit. His head's sort of twisting that way. That's it, and then get some darker. Forget that palette knife, can I? Oh, that's not the palette knife, is it? No. Which can I smooth this out? Oh, quite a lot. Oh, that's cool. You see, I should have used layers, really. I'm going to use layers on the other people, I think, but it was a bit too late on the dog. Just like that sort of... I love the... keeping those edges sort of blurred in. But if I do it on a different layer, I won't be able to do this. But I could merge the layer down. Right, that's my dog. That's my first. That looks better, doesn't it? Right, so what I'm going to do with the other people, I think, because... No, you know what? I'm just going to stick on... I'm going to stick on this layer. Now I've got to try and get this guy in. I'm going to pick up the... I'm going to do it with a tube of paint. I'm going to pick up the colour off this tree for his jacket. Pop that in. Like that. Now I'm coming forward. Like that. There we go. I do love these tubes of paint. They're great. They really are good. A lot of fun. That dog's proper pulling him forward, isn't it? Sort of standing on that leg there. Got to be a bit lower. Like that. And this leg is like that. Does that mean his jacket should be a bit bigger? I don't think so. Oops. That's the firm bit there. And that arm comes right down there. That's it. Like that. All right. Let's go back to the paintbrush, the oil brush, just for the details. There we go. Got to try and get this lead in really thin. we go. A bit too thick. Is it painted into it? I don't think so. Just while I'm thinking about it, I've now got that guy in lot. I can use this paintbrush to put in a few branches, perhaps. I just wanted to show you this, really. I'll come back and do some more in a bit. Like that. And then take that palette knife and just shoot through them a bit, just to soften them off. So I'll be doing a bit more of that. I just fancied doing a little bit of that. Let's get back to the people. Let's do his head. Let's do that with. Shall I do that with a paintbrush? Yeah, go on then. Got this beard going off, hasn't he? I love the fact that I've used all of these different tools, pastels, paints. A lot. Got this rim of light thing going off down the back of his jacket, down his leg. What's that look like? Yeah, that's not bad. That's not too bad. Let's get some more people in. Let's get back to the tubes. Tubes of paint. So, I suppose the point of this video is that, you know, it's not about, I'm going to do a watercolour today, I'm going to do an oil painting, I'm going to do pastel painting. You can just bring them all together and get these really cool effects that I've never achieved before, just sort of sticking to one medium. But isn't that what it's all about? You know, experimenting. And sometimes, you know, coming from sort of traditional media, I forget that I'm working in mixed media and the same rules don't apply. So you can mix watercolour with oils and it's not going to damage the integrity of the canvas, for example, or the medium. You know, it's not going to make the oil paint break down after 6 weeks or something, you know. I'm really into. I do like to sort of be really impressionistic and just give indications of faces and characters and things. And early on in this channel, I used to spend a lot of time painting in the eyes and all of the features and everything, and tried to make every person that I painted look something like the person in the photo, but not anymore. I don't feel there's a need for that. I'm going back to the oil brush, just to flick in an highlight. It's too high up. Oh, please wait. What have I done? That's going to undo everything. No. What's it going to do? What's it going to do? Right, okay, let's not panic. Let's go to edit, undo. And then you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to save this painting because I haven't done that yet. Oh my God. Let's go to Artrage. Where are we? Marketing dog walk. Can you believe that? Don't forget to save your work. When I used to teach, and I used to teach IT, I wasn't particularly an IT teacher. I was doing mostly sign making and art and stuff, but I used to have to teach IT of a very sort of basic general level to construction workers and art students and stuff. And the students had come to me and say, I've lost my work. And I said, well, you've been saving it, haven't you? Go to your backup. And they'd look at me, you know, sort of frustrated and forlorn, because they haven't. And I'm just as guilty. I like that. You know what? Is that enough people? I think that's enough people there. But we do need this other dog, don't we? We need this little dog here. Look. Give me a palette knife. I wonder if I could go back in with the pen tool to do some more detail, perhaps a bit later on. I don't know. I've got this little white dog. Let's have the little white dog in as well. I don't know why I'm getting excited. I'm not a massive fan of dogs. I do like them, but I would never want to own one. I had them. My mum and dad kept dogs, and you know, always grew up with them. But they're so messy, aren't they? They just trash everything. My daughter Charlotte, who's got Killy, she's got a couple of Westies, and a cat, and she had rabbits. She loves animals, and she just doesn't get it that I don't want a pet in my life, because they tie you down. You can't go anywhere unless you take them with you or you put them in kennels. Nightmare, man. So you can see I've kind of got the girl, the gap between the girl and the, I assume it's a mother behind, are slightly different now. I think it's okay. I think we can put her there. Let's get her in then. Going back to my tubes. Put a jacket in first. Very trendy outfit for this little girl, I think. With the leggings and everything. I've only got to paint one leg as well, which is nice because the dog's in the way. Push that about a bit. A little arm coming out there. Skirt. Let's just put a little bit of colour in for a face. Try and get a skin tone. Pretty much what we've got, I think. A bit lighter. Not like that. I think I need to darken the hair up a little bit. And then I can put an highlight in. Let's go with that colour. That's way too thick. There we go. So you can see this really almost abstract kind of look I've got going off on the little girl. I think in this case, I think that's what it's about. It's how the picture is developed. Tubes of paint for the mum, I'm feeling. So all those, I mean, them initial lines were really basic and not much going off, but it certainly gave me a good idea where these characters go. That kind of leg goes back there like that. I've got this other one coming forward and then just coming down, like it's going to put a foot down there. A bit lower than that. Got a knife. Which leg's at the front? Okay, this one. Front leg, back leg. Jacket, this one pushed out a bit more. This was all, this photo was taken before the lockdown, so we had no worries about catching a virus off anybody or anything like that. The nice thing about the tubes of paint, you really can sort of just block out any colour that's underneath. Now I've got this, I'm going to do that again with the tube. Get the palette knife, just smooth it out a little bit, and then get the pastel. A bit smaller, perhaps. You can see that it doesn't block out that paint. Oh, I like that, where I can take that pastel and just go into that character a bit. Yes. Very nice. I like that. What colour we got? Skin tone. You know what? I really like this sort of abstract around her hair, and I might just sort of leave that a little bit. Take the pastel brush. Pastels work really well. On top of this oil paint, I have to say, there, I think that's the people done in my walk. Yeah, I could probably just make a slightly darker mark for that dog. Right, what am I going to do for the path? Well, let's get the shadows of the people in. That dog's having a little bit of a nosy under something there. We've got this bush coming out here still. What brush am I using? Pastel, okay. I'll just work with the pastel to do a little bit of sketching in. I've moved the people right up onto this line of the edge of the grass, where in actual fact the grass goes much higher, but I quite like that, so I'm going to leave that where it is. I just need to zoom out on my source image, which unfortunately you can't see. There we go. That's it. And the shadows are sort of sweeping down here. I'm going to use the tubes of paint, I think. Just squeeze out some paint that represent these shadows. And get my palette knife and squidge it around a bit. I need to zoom in and have a look to see what is that. All right, what's happening there? Is that working? Might be a bit too much actually. Get my roller. There's the roller. There it is. Make it just small and just sort of see if I can break this paint up a bit more with the roller, and be like using a wooden roller like a decorator would use to fix the seam on a wallpaper. I wonder if there's any brushes I haven't used yet that could possibly be brought into this. Right, let's get these paths in. So these are going to be done with tubes of paint. When I say paths, I don't mean paths, I mean edging stones. So I'm just getting my tube of paint and squirting that on there. And I'm going to kind of go like that. And this one I'm just going to bring out over here like this. Take my palette knife. So I've got this nice sharp edge. So I guess I can use pastels. I'm going to just take this path back that way a bit. Up to where the doggy is. That's it. Then I can use pastels, I think, because you keep that look underneath. Yeah, the texture, we get to keep that. I'm lifting the colours off the canvas so I can get a nice balanced feel of colour. Just trying to add a little bit of detail to that path there. The only bit I'm not really overly fond of is this bit, so I'm just going to get my roller and see if I can just take that out a bit. Maybe even that's better. That's better. Right, watercolour, perhaps a browny colour I want. There we go. Yeah, that's working for me. Bit darker colour here, because I want to get some of these sort of shadows going off. That's under the trees here. Like that. And then I can even paint that tree in with a watercolour brush. Wow. Got those shadows in nicely. Do I want them even darker? Maybe I do. So if I want them darker, let's try a pastel. There we go. I don't know how much of this details I put in there. Do I keep it nice and simple? Just sort of make a few more indications of some leaves that are hanging from the trees there, like that lot. And then I can put some branches. Maybe make a bit bigger brush. Like that. And then go in with my paintbrush. I did say earlier I might have a go with the pen again, but I'm not going to. I don't think that's a good idea. Get a fairly dark colour. Just sort of flick in. A few branches that are sort of hanging down like this. And you know what I'm going to do with this? They're not staying like that, obviously. It wants to be a bit bigger than that. And brown. Where do you stop? That's where you stop, Steve. Learn your lesson. How many times? Palette knife. Just break up these lines. This is so close to being finished. It's all about softening edges, I think. There we go. So what haven't I used? I haven't used the selection tool. I could have gone in with this brush here. Well, it's not a brush really. It's a way of selecting shapes. So I could have gone in here, look, and maybe drawn in by hand a tree branch like that, and then it would select that, and then I could choose my tube of paint, perhaps choose a colour and just flick some paint in there, and it won't go out of that what I've selected, and I can use my palette knife just to blend those colours in a bit into that branch like that, and then deselect all, and you can see that I've used a mask essentially, and I can work it a bit more and sort of work it into it a little bit. Wasn't a particularly well drawn mask, so I'm now going to have to overwork that a little bit with some tubes. And the palette knife, just smudge that a bit. Is that enough? Does that work? Yeah, I think so. Right, I'm going to just get this signed. Choose a colour. I think I'll use the pen. I can't use that one though, can I? Because it's... Oh no, I've done it again. So I'm going to undo everything. Why do I do that? It's a key press. My fingers must slip and hit the wrong combination. I do like this painting. I really, really like it. Let's just undo that. Now, get that signature off. Choose a pen that's not smooth. I can just take the smoothness off this one, I suppose. Just knock that right off. I didn't like the colour, and I thought the brush was a bit thick as well. What's that? I always find that it's Control X is what I'm pressing. That's deleting the old thing. Control X clears a layer, everybody. Control Z is the key combination I want. Okay, let's try again. I always find doing a signature quite tricky. Just getting the button, because you don't want it screaming out at you, but you want it there. There we go. That's it. Unleashing the power of Artrage. Like using every single brush I can find and really going for it. I wonder if I could. Just really tempted. Oh, I've got to do it. I just love this branch so much that I want to get my tube of paint and to possibly just flick a few more branches in with tubes, and then get the pastel brush, I think it was. This might not work. I might have to undo it. No, I don't like it. I don't like the way the colour is spoiled. I like it. I'm going to leave it like that. So let's save that painting. There we go, everybody. That's it. Unleashing the power of Artrage without using layers, of course. I hope you've enjoyed this video. If you have, a big thumbs up as always is much appreciated. And if you're new to the channel, please consider subscribing. I've got loads of videos like this. I'd love to be sharing them with you. And don't forget, everybody, keep painting, stay safe and stay sane. And hopefully I'll see you all in the next one. Bye.